Okay. Okay, if you cannot hear me, just let me know. Yeah. So I hope everything is clear on your side. Basically, I'm standing in front a green screen. So what you see here is like a news reporting. Huh? So all right. So all these you can read from the canvas. So make sure you're in the correct code MPU 3343 CSR. Huh? CSR. I want to highlight all this you can read. So I want to highlight these three important things. I think other lecturers also mentioned in other module. So learning outcomes is what we focusing on. And also this will be the keyword that will come out in your final exam or any quiz. So anytime the first one is explain the fundamental and issue of CSR. So if you see anything on the slide that show you the theories, definition, or any serious issue, you need to take note. Okay. The second one, explain social responsibility issue in corporate setting, both in Malaysia and abroad. So this one, CL2, this one is in your report later. Okay, it's in your report later. So CL3, this one is compare level of CSR commitment. This one is in some of your quiz and also in final exam. So you will see level of CSR commitment in the organization, and then explain how this sound advantages to youth development. So later I will highlight in my class. So if I mention something or this is important, and then you need to take note. Okay. In our class, you will see in the canvas there's a I think at the below the last section of the canvas, you will see there's a tutorial there. Right. So in your next class, you can go and download chapter 2 or lesson number 2. I think lesson number 1 might be too late for some of you. If you open the file in the canvas, then a tutorial, it actually is a notes. It's a notes and allow you to follow along. If you print the material out, it will help you to stay focused, because 8:30 class is a bit heavy for some of you. Okay. So this is my full name. I'm Dr. Ang, right? So this is my email address. And for evening class for LS, so if there's anything that you need my help, I'll be available for you 6 to 8 every Thursday, or you just text me. Just text me. So I won't review my contact number here, but all of you should have my contact in the WhatsApp. And again, all of us, we don't like calls or texts outside the office hour, right? So don't text or message or call me on Saturday. Still can, but try not to. Sunday, I hope everyone have a good rest on Sunday, right? Okay, so this is if some of you haven't joined the WhatsApp group, you can scan the QR code and then join the WhatsApp group if some of you haven't joined. So you can just scan and then join. Okay, there are some class rules. There are some class rules. So first is attendance. So we will start class on time. Late policy means, what I mean by late is that if you log in MS Team 10 minutes after we start the class, means you consider late. And then in our class, please, if you in at the time register in the MS Team, if you log in 20 minutes, then I might this one I still under consideration. I might mark you as absent. But I understand all of you are working adults, so this one might not apply to this class. All right. So if you are MC or sick, please go and get one of the MC just to protect you. All right. But you're still able to allow 10. But for those face-to-face class, then this one will apply. For you guys, I will still give you some freedom. Okay, assignment. This one I will be very strict. If you see assignment component, so I will give you 0 marks if you submit your assignment after the due date and time. So I will give you up to the last date, especially I will give you until Sunday 11:59 p.m. So if you submit even 1 second late in the canvas, I will not mark. I will give you straight away 0 marks. Okay, so pay attention to the assignment. So if I mention some due date, make sure you go and plan and then submit on time. Okay, right. All right, this one no. Okay, so for this LS, we have two components. We have final exam 30% and then 70% for coursework. So for coursework, you have group project 40%. You have individual 20%, and then you have quiz. So every class you have one quiz. At least you have one quiz to do. All right, and then exam for you guys, you're having an online exam. So you have two sections. Section A is 50 MCQ question, and then B is 10 true or false question. So you're about 150 minutes. For this module, your final marks, your final exam, out of 100, you need to score at least 20 marks to pass. For final exam, you need to score at least 20 marks out of 100. Okay, so means the whole paper, you need to score 20 marks to pass this module. And you see this one, you have coursework and final, you add all the marks together, you need to get 50 marks to pass this module. So you have two criteria. One is a total mark, one is the final exam. Okay, so the rest you read lah. There's a receipt criteria you can do. But again, if you follow the instruction in the class, then you should not worry about this criteria. All right. So you have all this planning, class planning. You can read through all these things. Today we will cover the first one. Right. All right. Then you will see this one in the canvas. It's available in a canvas. This is all the checklist for every week. So this is week 1. So date is today, 1st June, and then your what you should already cover. So lesson 1, and then what is your assignment, or what you should do or pass up in that week. So this one for today, you have 2 online assignment. You need to pass this one. You need to do these 2 later. Okay, so you can this one is available on Canvas, so you can download and put on your handphone, or you can print out, put on your notebook or something, right? So this is a very useful reminder for you guys, right? So there are some due date I highlight in the red color here. Please follow. Again, in my class, if you pass the due date, I won't mark. I straight away give you 0. Right? Because our class we have 73 students, so I need some times for the marking. Right? So if you're not interested or you're not able, okay. But if you need help, you can come and see me or text me. Talk to me. Right? These are the references that I use. Okay. All this you can read lah. Okay, so lesson what to do today. We need to complete learning contract and L1 quiz. This by the end of the lecture, right? By the end of lecture. Oh, okay. All right. So we are now enter into chapter 1. I'm going to go through a bit fast. This CSR module is a bit relaxed, and there's lots of video to watch. So it's good that you can put on your headphone without disturbing your family's members or your friends. All right. So chapter 1. Today we're going to learn, identify and analyze what are the differences of CSR initiative. This one is through the video, and then What are the differences between CSR and community service? You should able to tell the difference. This is important. So this one is very popular when it comes to quiz and also final exam question. Right. Okay. So all right. So those you are watching using your computer, you can straight away go to Canvas, and then you go to. Okay, let me switch the screen. Just in case you don't know. Okay, never mind. Later we come back to this later. No worry. This one later you can go. We will after we finish the class, then I will stay offline time with you. Means I will turn off the record, and then we come to this one. Okay, no worries. Okay. So first we start with the CSR. So CSR is a concept that is important for business reporting nowadays. So if you're working in a company, so most of the time you need to include this CSR report, especially those Sendirian Berhad, those registered with the Bursa Malaysia. Then this is part of the company report, right? Okay, so for all the public listed company in Malaysia, context is Sendirian Berhad. Um, in other country, public listed company, you have their own name for that, all right? But all the public listed company in Malaysia, you need to include the CSR or corporate activities, corporate responsibility activity in the report. Okay. So these are the keywords. So what are inside this CSR? One, you need to report what are the corporate activities. So focusing, the subject here is corporate. So what are the corporate or company doing? Second, what are the social impact that you have to do? So one is the company, one is the receiver or the society. So what company do something and then do what? And then the society receive it, right? So what the society receive, what the benefit received by the society, all right? So for CSR, you only need to remember two main component. What are the company doing? On who? Okay. Then especially company question done already. Then you question yourself. Okay. What are the society receiving? What are benefit receiving? Then you're able to answer all the question for CSR. All right. There are lots of definition for CSR, but in our lecture, so we just give you some definition we're able to find on the textbook, right? And of course, when we set the question, we refer to textbook, right? So I think in our PowerPoint slides is sufficient for you to understand what is CSR. All right, so again, the number of definition out there is a lot. So again, I just summarize from chapter 1 to chapter 7. You only need to understand two things: company or corporate. You see the word corporate. What are the company doing? And then the society component. Who are the people? And then what are they? What is the impact? What are the benefit they receive? You answer this question, then you're able to answer all the question. All right. So we watched one video on one or two video. So what are the multinational corporates involved in CSR? So when you watch this video, ask this question. So jot down on a piece of paper, or those you already download the tutorial question, you will see all this on the tutorial question. So the first question is that, have you thought of the living a life without electricity? Okay, so this is have you thought of life without electricity or light? Find out what Esther which is the people component or society component, is able to do when Samsung, this is the company component, bought light to her village. So on this video later, you see what happened. Huh? As a result, what was the society component able to do? In this case, the name is given Esther. Then the last one, what do you think Esther will plan for her future? Okay, 4 questions. Huh? Okay, let's watch this one.
Doctor, is it not sound? Doctor, no sound.
No sound?
Yeah.
The video do not have sound, is it?
Yeah.
I think you need to change your output, doctor. Maybe like share the screen so I can see the video.
Okay. Okay. I think for the video part, I'll just let you guys go and watch this video, right? Um, we cover the theory. So this is another video um, by Asia, right? So okay, since there's no sound transmitted to other side, so later I will investigate what happened, right? There's a sound into my headphone, but there's no sound to your side. But anyway, this is a second video by Asia. After the class, you can watch this video and try to understand these 3 questions, right? So basically, what this video is about Asia. They try to help the typhoon in Haiyan, in the Philippines. So they try to help the people there, right? So after the class, you can go and view this video, right? All right. So if you watch these 2 video, um, you try to understand why all these corporate they do all this CSR, right? Um, and you see that actually through the company good doing, the impacts on life or the society, they help the society to for the better benefit, right? Okay. Now, again, just now I mentioned the learning outcome just now. One of the learning outcome is to compare what is CSR, what is community service. There's a big difference, compare these two. So CSR, the idea of CSR is to take responsibility, or the company is taking responsibility to help the society. In short, I already summarized everything here. So the keyword here I highlight means that there's a responsibility component that the company take to help the society. Okay. Okay. Then community service. Community service is a voluntary job performed either by individual or groups. So these are the difference. So first, CSR, from the name itself, you know that there's a responsibility component in the CSR. Means the company take responsibility to help the society on a voluntary basis. But if you do look at community service, it means you help out of volunteer, right? Out of your good heart. So if the definition later just now in a quiz, you see something, this keyword, then it belongs to CSR. The answer without the responsibility, but it keep mentioning voluntary work and so, then it's fall under community service. Okay, the rest you can read in the slides. Okay. So again, there's a video. So again, since it's do not have any sound in over your side, so you just go and watch this video after the class. Okay, after the class. Right. So there are lots of questions there. So later you go through the PowerPoint slides and then you try to answer whether you understand or not. Right. So all these are very old video, but you can watch. Right. So CSR, as per title of our module, is a corporate social responsibility. So these are the definition. So corporate social responsibility. So since we mentioned the differences between CSR and community service just now, CSR have the word responsibility. So in textbook definition, you will see that obligation to conduct business and then helping the environment and society. So again, the two component, company and society. All right. So all these, when it comes to test or final exam, all these they will use a different words, but the meaning is there. Okay. So I will show you a big photo of this one on the next slides. So what is CSR? So this is an important diagram. Again, this is an important diagram that is important for your final exam and also some of your quizzes, right? So CSR will have four components: employee, society, environment, and user. Okay, we'll look at each one of these. CSR have four components: employees, or we call it corporate or company. Society is the impact or person that receive the help, society. Environment and user. So this actually environment, user, and society is the impact factor, right? This is the input, right? The company or employees. So looks at the first one. So CSR, the first component, employees. So all these are the keywords here. So what mean by when the company say, oh, I'm conducting a CSR or I'm applying CSR? So first, they look at the employee. Within the company, if they have a good CSR program, the first person they involved is the treatments of the employees. Right? So look at the benefit of the employees. So all these are the keyword that you can elaborate when you write report later. You write report later, these are the keywords that you elaborate. Right. So in your, just give you a early highlight in your group report later, you need to study a big company by studying the annual report, especially on the CSR component. Then you elaborate based on these 4 points in this diagram. So the first one, you look at how they treat their employees. All right. So some of you, some in the class, you are in the HR department, so this should be very familiar in your daily practice, right? The keyword is employees, how they practice CSR, they treat it equally, or there's a they look at the employee treatment, right? All right. Then one is the employee treatment. Second keyword here, I just highlight the rest you read. They provide a healthy and safe work environment. So this one, I think most of the company nowadays, in your employee handbook or manual, they will mention, right? There is a whistleblower policy. There is a workplace safety procedure, regulation, and so on, right? So treated fairly, and then anything that regarding the employee health and safe, or some of the company you practice OSHA, occupational safety, something, right? That one, right? Okay. Component, for example, okay, all this we read lah. All right. Some of the company, once you walk in, or the company's very clean. So they will make sure, the management will make sure that they deploy cleaners to clean up all the corners, right? So to make sure there's a safe and good working environment. Okay. Next, okay. This is another example where this is also employees where they develop the skill. You'll see that some company, they have lots of internal skill upgrades, or they have a subscript to this HR crop CPD programs and all this, right? So just now we mentioned human rights, we mentioned health and safety at work, and then develop skill and promote diversity, right? Right. So this one, promote diversity. If you work in Singapore, this is very obvious. So you will see a lot of different national, especially when you work in a multinational company, you will see your colleague is from everywhere, from all the countries around the world. Next, we look at society. So we'll touch on society, we'll touch on ethical, we'll touch on responsible purchasing. So what does it mean? So act ethically, so means you will do anything that is ethically right, especially the company deal with supplier and customers. Okay, you will consider ethical in your doings, right? Again, in your group report later, in your group report 40% assignment, go to the company report and look at society, how they conduct differently, especially how they do it ethically. They will mention all these keywords in the report. So how they do the responsible purchasing. So first this one, and then why? Because if you do ethically, then your company become a good brand, right? Right. So this ethical, this one will affect the company branding, right? If you do good, then it will raise the branding. If you do something wrong, then the sales might drop because of the branding effect. Okay. So, example, I think many years ago, 1996, I think, right? I think in this class, most of you're quite young, right? So One incident that one publisher, Life magazine, they expose child labeling. One of the reporter, they take this photo, and then you can see the logo here. I'm not going to mention the name. So they capture this photo at one of the factory, and this one create a big news around this year. So because the society, they have empathy, and then they say, oh, this is wrong, and so on. Okay. So we are done with the society component. Then next one is environment. So environment, I will just highlight the keyword here, environment in the CSR. Again, in the group report later, you go for environment, read all these keywords, try to see what the company do to affect the environment, to do something better than for the environment. All right. So for example, carbon footprint. All right. For example, if your company is trying to build a solar panel and all this, then this is part of the CSR under environment component. Right. So right. So example. So in CSR, most of the time, it is proposed that a business organization, they should not only pay on profit, but they have also do good for the environment. Okay. So what mean by environment? Anything that green, anything that help the environment, then it's good. So this under CSR. So they will look at environment impact, they will look at the carbon footprint, and so on. So this under CSR. So look for all these keyword in your group report later. Okay, the next one is also green, but this one is on the supply chain, right? It's on the supply chain. So you look at the life cycle of the products. So they make sure that the products, let's say this is the automotive industry. So from the making until disposal of the parts and all cars, they already prepare how do you recycle the materials, all right? So this is, if you study about Tesla and all this, so they have all this plan in their annual report. The last one for the CSR is the user. So for the user, you will keep seeing this word in the company report, especially CSR component, sustainability or sustainable solution, which is safe and clean. You will see this keyword in their report. Sustainability, you'll see even in your company, you will see sustainable solution and so on. All right. So this for the user. All right. So for example, battery. So you will make sure that the battery was not thrown into the river or create some harm for the energy, for the environment. Okay. All right. So we have covered the four. We have covered the four. Employee, society, environment, and user. Okay, 4 points. Okay, so this is definition of that one. So definition, a broad definition of CSR. Again, this is important slides that might be in your quiz or it might be in your final exam. So, so CSR, you look at a relationship of corporate, governance, country, and individual citizens. So this is governance of country. This one fall under environment meanings. So corporates, environment, citizens. So citizen here, it can be society, it can be the user, the four main factors just now. Okay. So all this you read. This one also you read. All right, so this is important. again, this slide is important, especially when it comes to MCQ question. It will ask you, which one of these statement is EU Commission definition for CSR? So it gives you a lot of option, but highlight the keyword. What EU Commission, EU is European Commission, what they say in 2002 version in their report. So this mentioned CSR is a concept where company integrate social and environment concern in their business operation and the interaction with the stakeholders on the voluntary basics. Later, we will learn about what is stakeholders. But again, you will see company, you will see society, you will see environment, and stakeholders also, you can say as a user, right? So there are four main key keep repeating for CSR. Company, society, environment, and the user. Okay. So this is another elaboration on why company doing CSR. So it's about history. So in 1970s, there's someone say about the company performance is correlate with social performance of the business in the sense of CSR. What does it mean? It means that in 1960s, there's an idea that somebody, he measure the company performance with social performance of the business. So if the company is good branding, all people know that, oh, this is a good company, then the company is performing well. Okay. So again, this is another definition that is important. So when it comes to final exam or quiz, just remember. So this person, H, all right, mentioned there is no reason to think that shareholders are willing to tolerate amount of corporate non-profit activity, which apparently appreciably reduce either dividends or market performance of the stock. So this person, he seems that he's not agree, but this is what he mentioned about CSR. Okay, and this is another person mentioned about CSR. Okay, so this person, Dal, the keyword for this Dal is that he strongly say every corporation should be thought as a social enterprise. If you see this social enterprise, it means this person say, right? So this Hetherington, he say no reason to think that shareholder is willing to tolerate. This is related to this person. If you see in the question that he mentioned corporate should be a thought as a social enterprise or a loss of social purpose, and is under this person statements. Okay. There's another one. Carols, also very popular in the question. Carols, he mentioned something. Business encompass economic, legal, ethical, and others. Society has of organization at a given point of time. What are the keywords that Carol mean? Carol says society will affect the business performance. Okay, you will link society and business together, right? Another person, but this one got 3%, have partners one. This one have other definition of CSR. In modern commercial area, company and their manager are subject to well-publicized pressure to play an increasing important role in a society. So how you know this 3% answer? You look for pressure, publicized pressure. Okay. All right. So these are some of the people say about CSR. Right. Profit is all about everything. So it means that some writer they don't agree with the ideas of CSR. So like for example, Milton. Milton, he very focused on profit. He say all these things, but he keep repeating increasing the profit. Okay. Duckers also say the same thing. So business turn a social problem into economic opportunity and so on. Okay. This is another category. Some people say CSR is a conditional. So Robinson and his partner. Robinson say so and so. Manager may even believe that making statements about social responsibility insulate the firm from necessity of taking society responsible action. Okay. Moore say something. Okay. This one you read, huh? And then the evolution of CSR, this one you also read from the slides. Huh? So each year have their own history. Okay, so this one I won't read from the slides. You just read this one during your reading hours. Okay. Okay. All right. So further reading, this one is inside the canvas. You can go and read all these things. All right. So again, just mind, this additional reading material have 28 pages. Right. So again, it's important for your assignment and exam. So read this document when it comes to your assignment and exam. Okay, quiz time again. I will stop the recording. You need to go to Canvas and then do the learning context and also lesson quiz 1%. Okay, I'll stop the recording and then I will show you. I'll still stay online.